in its beautiful gorgeousness. I did it. I earned this medal fair and square. And also a little follow-up. In the expo video, you see that I wasn't able to get the pins because they were all sold out. Bam! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! And it even whoop! It opens up. Says I did it. This pin was originally $16.99. I paid $25 for it on eBay. And I would have paid even less than $17 with my 40% discount, but I digress. I got it. And if you're curious as to why that's so important, my Run Disney backpack, here it is. And I'm going to, as soon as I finish filming this video, it's going to go boop, right smack dab in the middle with the rest of my 5K pins. This one represents the Castaway Key 5K. Anyway, enough of what I have done, because you already know that I finished. This is kind of like an overall recap, things that I learned, things I wish I had done, so on and so forth. And I'm also wearing my tank top that I got, and it's super duper comfortable. And I'm also wearing, I just got this today actually. It's got this from Etsy. It has a little charm here that says 13.1, and then this larger charm here says she believed she could, so she did. And I wanted to have something like this to remind me how big of an accomplishment this was, because it wasn't until after I did it and I posted that I had done it that I realized how big this was. Because I always in life push myself farther. I keep brushing my face because I have cat hair somewhere on my face and I see it at the corner of my eye and it's driving me insane. I always push myself far more than I realize, and I forget that. I push and I push and I push, and then I'm exhausted, and I'm like, why am I so exhausted? And I don't pay attention to everything that I have done, which is why I'm wearing this, because just like making a checklist of things that I have done and writing them down on my to-do list, I also want to wear this to remind myself I ran 13 miles. 13 miles. I ran for 3 hours straight and was able to breathe and recover rather well. So let's get into it. I was very anxious and nervous about the race, obviously, but most importantly, I was anxious about it because I had not trained almost at all running in the cold, and we had cold weather all that week. That weekend, the humidity kicked in, and so it was raining. It actually rained the whole first mile that we ran, and it also rained a little bit before. I was very, and also, as you found out in the video, I also had just gotten my period a couple days before, so I was running on my last day. So thank God it was my last day, so it wasn't that bad, but leading up to it, I wasn't able to train and condition myself as well as I wanted to, because everybody's different, and unfortunately, I'm a wimp when it comes to that. So that also made me very anxious and very nervous about everything. So on top of that, I had issues running with my stomach because my stomach wasn't taking food well, and so I was having to go to the bathroom often, and so that was something that I was really nervous about, is not having a porta potty close by, which I will tell you, there are porta potties all throughout the race, so push comes to shove, there's that, except for the fact that there was lines at most of them. So if you can, go before you run, go before you run, go before you run. You're not going to miss anything. They shoot off fireworks, and they shot off a lot of fireworks for every pin. I was in pin, by the way, this video is going to be all over the place, so sorry. They organized us in pins, as they do, except there was like A1, A2, B1, B2, like they divided us individually, so it took even longer for them to get to the pins that are at the bottom, aka myself. So I actually had plenty of time to get from point A to point B. I was very nervous that I wasn't going to make it on the bus in time and to go with my pin. Not that it was the end of the world if I had to go with, you know, the pin after me, but like I had plenty of time. Other things that I prepared extra that I didn't need. I brought my corded headphones just in case my Bluetooth headphones died. That wasn't an issue at all. My Bluetooth headphones were absolutely fine. What did happen was my phone battery went very, very quickly because I was connected to my Bluetooth headphones, because I was vlogging when taking pictures often, and because it was connected to my Fitbit. I decided to do GPS tracking so that way it could show me not only the entire course, but also show me how fast I was going for each mile, instead of just like hitting like treadmill or something, or just like not even having it track it at all and just let it automatically track it. So that also drained my battery as well. Luckily, I had my husband bring a charge bar to charge my phone afterwards, so that ended up being fine. But I was very nervous about meeting up with him and only having like 5% battery. Oh, by the way, I also had it on low power mode the entire time. Oh, and I forgot I was also listening to music. Oh, yeah, well, I was also streaming music because I didn't have my entire half marathon playlist, running playlist downloaded yet, so it was streaming it through cellular and Wi-Fi, so that probably also drained the battery. So there were a couple of precautions on that side that I probably could have taken to not have it drain, but anywho. Let's see, what else? When we first started off, I knew to take it easy. Everyone was pumped, but I knew to take it easy, to take it slow, and I did until I got to like mile 4, which is when I kicked it into high gear. I probably should have cooled down a bit more farther down and then kicked it into high gear, but I was just in the mood and excited, and every mile they had something, because I was really concerned that I was going to get bored from running and not have anything to look at, because the majority of the race is not in the parks almost at all. And so I was concerned that we were just going to be running on a parking lot or just running down a road and there was going to be anything interesting. But I very quickly realized that that was silly, because when we came up on mile marker 1, which was down a very long street, there's like nothing in the area. I think it's a back road actually, and it's just forest and woods. And they had flashing colored lights to light up the trees, and they played Going Down the Bayou. So it was like we were all running with Ray and all the fireflies. So, and then they also had screens, and they had several areas like that, and areas that weren't themed or pretty or whatever, like the Animal Kingdom parking lot. They had Remy, and they had music from Ratatouille playing, which I liked because I had my Remy Tsum Tsum on my shoulder the entire time. Another thing that I learned is when you're running, if you're about to slow down, you put your arm up to let everyone else in the area know you're slowing down. Typically when you slow down, you go to the sides. At first, it was always the right side, then it just kind of flip-flopped, and it's just to the side, just go to the side. So all the faster runners, or the runners who are continuing to, go, were in the middle. And then if you needed to slow down for whatever reason, you put your hand up, and then you slow down to the side. Now when I slowed, which I liked that, because that prepared me in case I was looking off to the side. If I saw a hand go up like this, I was like, oh, they're going to slow down. I need to slow down, or I need to bob and weave around them. But when I slowed down, I never stopped. I told myself I'm not going to stop moving. I'm always going to have my feet up. I'm always going to have my feet going, because I didn't want to stop completely, because I wasn't sure what my speed was going to be. Again, because I had taken it easy beforehand. I wasn't able to train to my best. I wasn't sure what my pace was going to be, and my goal was to finish under 3 hours, which I will say I did. I literally beat the 3-hour marker who was like running, because they have every hour they had someone like running with like a flag, like, at this point you're going to finish the race in 3 hours. I don't know how they time that, or if like they have to watch their pace. but I made sure I was in front of that guy often. There would be several times where he would start to pass me, and I would like book it to stay ahead of him and then like power walk it. But that wasn't until like probably 11 miles in. 11, yeah, it wasn't until like 11 miles in. So really towards the end. What else happened? Oh yeah. So when we got to, there's a, every water stop I got water. I didn't get Powerade. The only Powerade they had was like the yellow stuff, which I do not like the taste of. And so I didn't want to put something in my mouth that I wasn't going to like the taste of, especially with running. So I just stuck to straight up water. I did end up going with, I had mentioned it before, I had a little like fanny pack in a sense, like a runner's pouch that I brought that I was going to use. And then I decided I wasn't going to use it. And then the last second I decided I was going to use it. But the reason why I didn't want to use it because the bottle that I had, the big bottle, was like bouncing and it was upsetting my stomach and my back, depending on which side I had it on. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to use it. But then I realized I had a smaller bottle and I decided to use that. How I actually ended up running with it, which was not how I planned on running with it. When I was waiting to run, I had it around my waist and it was pulling on my waist. And because I was anxious and nervous, my stomach was upset. So I just held it to the side like a sling. I had like Remy on this side and then like I had my fanny pack on the other. And that's how I ran with it, and I was fine. I probably could have used the giant bottle instead of the smaller bottle, and I would have been fine. But like that's how I ended up running with it, was sideways. So if that's something you're thinking about doing, try having it be like a sling. And the reason why I wanted to bring it because I ended up using the Gatorade chews, which I'll get into in a moment about. I also had my spare headphones in it. I also had some tampons in it, and I also had, just in case, which I did end up using, and then I had something else in it. I can't remember what. I probably could have put my charge bar in it now that I think about it, and it would have been fine. And then I had a bottle of, and it was a combination of, it was a combination that I did myself. It was probiotic tea with a little bit of green tea, so a little bit of caffeine. Then it had, it's basically like Powerade, but not as many calories, or not as much sugar rather. It's got like a lot of vitamins in it for you. And then I put in a little bit of electrolytes water. So it was like my own combination concoction of an energy drink that I knew I was going to like. And I put it in a smaller bottle. And I saved that until I got to the not the halfway point, whatever point was that they handed out the energy jelly beans. I don't like energy jelly beans, and they were handing them out to everyone, and I was like, no. So what I ended up using was Gatorade chews, which from what I was looking at was pretty much the same thing as the jelly beans. Because they had a display at the expo of all these energy type things, and I was trying to see like what the point of them was, what was the benefit was, comparing them to the Gatorade chews that I had gotten. And the Gatorade chews for me worked. I absolutely liked them. I had strawberry and green apple, depending on what mood I was in. And then I drank like half of my bottled, and then I drank another half a little bit later when I needed it. Oh, I remember something else. I also had a cooling towel in it in case I needed it, which I had completely forgotten about. Like, I totally could have used that towards the end and like watered it down, but whatever, it's fine. So yeah, I was pretty good, doing pretty well until I reached the, like my motivation was getting to Hollywood Studios because that's where I work, and that was the 10-mile marker. And I knew if I got to that, I was like, okay, it's just 3 miles from there. So I ran through that, saw my friends that were working. That was very much an encouragement, said kind of goodbye to Hollywood Studios. And that for me, gave me the motivation to go, because my friends were like, you can do this, you can got this. And it was like kind of like a high five from my home, from what I spend most of my life at now. And then I just kept going. And it wasn't until we actually got into, before I get into Epcot, we ran down to the boardwalk, which is a run that I've done before, which also made me feel really good about it because I'm like, I've done this before. When we actually got to boardwalk, there were a slew of people because at this point the sun had risen, everyone's awake. There were a slew of people, just random people holding signs saying you can do this, just encouraging everyone, not necessarily encouraging one person or another. And it was so motivating and empowering to me that I was like trying to fight back tears. Like it meant so much to me that they were willing to do that, to the point where it actually maybe down the road might be something I might want to do with my own kids, because there were a lot of families with little kids that just had their arms out like this to high five people, and I ran up to every single one that I could. I would run down, get to their level, and like high five them. And like it literally just made it all worth it. And I was like, you are taking time out of your day to come and encourage me, a stranger, and you're excited that I'm here. And like, even if they were, let's be honest, even if they were there to encourage one person, they're there that for a longer length than just seeing the one person, and they're encouraging all of us. And it just meant so much to us. At least to me, it made a big difference to me. So by the time I got to Epcot, I was like, okay, I've got Epcot, and I knew the track for Epcot. So I've got Epcot, part of World Showcase, down to the front of Future World, parking lot, and we're done. I was like, that's literally just gotta run all the way through Epcot and we're done. And at this point, I was fighting between my stomach, because I don't know if it was the fruit shoes or just, you know what it was? It was because I was overheated. I get overheated easily, and because the sun had risen at this point, it was super humid. And so I was trying to cool myself down. And I was battling between that and also my shoes. I haven't been fitted for the right shoes, and so I don't think my shoes fit me properly. And they were rubbing up against the balls of my foot and then my pinky toes. And so it was funny because like when I was running fast, it upset my stomach because I was like overheating and my heart rate was going up. But when I slowed down to like power walk, that hurt my feet more because I was stretching and like reaching more. So it was like battling between two discomforts of which I was trying to, just kind of like, which one do I prefer? And then at this point trying to stay ahead of the 3-hour flag guy. So I was just like, I literally kept flip-flopping between the two. And then when I finally saw the arch of finish line, I just booked it. I was in pain. I was in major discomfort. I felt like throwing up, but I was like, it's right there. I'm almost there. So I just booked it as fast as I possibly could. And literally it was one of those, like, literally all I could do here was the announcer saying like different random things, like shout outs or whatever. I could really just hear him talking. I couldn't hear what he was really saying. And then my heartbeat. That's all I could hear. People were cheering and clapping, and I couldn't hear anything else other than my heartbeat and him. And that was just because he was really loud. As soon as I finished that or crossed that finish line, myself and everyone else just stopped. And we were just like zombie walking like the entire time. And typically, like, they were, like, putting the medals on top of people. She literally handed me the medal like this, and I was like, gimme. And I just was, like, waddling like this, and, like, trying to find my husband. And Jared, my husband, he got there. He was going to meet me at the finish line. And what they ended up doing is they had us park at the regular guest parking, too. Like, he ended up parking 2 rows from me. So I don't know why they had us park so far over. But he ended up parking over there and then walking to the other side, which was fine. I mean, that was a walk that I had to make. And then there's a, you don't have to do the cheer squad. They do have cheer squad seating right on the finish line and right on the starting line, but you don't need those. There is spectator seating at both places, and also, like I said, all along the track. If it's like in the boardwalk or in the park, for example, there are places that you can, as long as the area that you're going to is open, there are places for them to go and stand for free and cheer people on, which is what my husband did. He stood towards the end, and he had, I don't know where I put it. at the expo they have like signs that say Run Disney on it that you can like write something, and my husband wrote, I think it was like, my wife runs wonderful waces, like all with W's, just to be silly, and he held it up and he was like, I'll meet you over here. And but like, yeah, we met up with each other. I got my bag. It was cold that morning, so I had my my workout jacket just in case, and then it got super humid, obviously, and I just put it in my gear bag and checked it in. They check in your gear bag at the starting line, and they take them to the finish line for you. So I was able to have it right up to when I had to get into my pin, and then I was able to get it immediately after the race. So I probably could have put my charge bar in there as well for my phone, and I would have been fine. So I got my gear bag, got my banana, Gatorade, all your other stuff that you typically get at the end of the race, and then I waddled over to just like the meetup area, a reunion area, and he found me, and then we just kind of sat for a little bit, or I laid down like spread eagle because I was just like, oh, I just didn't want to move. They did have medic carts going around and like giving you anything that you need. They were passing out water. They did have from previous races I've done, they've had like a dance party, and then they've had like characters and things that you can meet. They really didn't have any that I was interested in meeting. I mean, the theme is like food and wine, so they had all the Fab Five in like chef outfits, and then they had like Lumiere and Sebastian. I had met Sebastian for the 5K. Didn't really care to meet Lumiere, and I've met the Fab Five millions of times, so I really was not in the mood to sit and meet anyone. I did not go to the race party at all. What we ended up doing is sitting there, and I ate, and then when I finally was able to get up and when I had finally cooled down, rather, we drove back to the apartment, and Jared we ordered IHOP online, and he went and picked it up, and so we had this huge, beautiful feast to eat, and it was wonderful. And then when we both were so full that we couldn't eat anymore, I just took a nap, and when I came home, I took a shower, then we ordered food and stuff. Oh, actually, I took a shower. Sorry, this is important information. Came home, took a shower, then I took a bath I had muscle relaxer salts that I had gotten from the expo. Where is her? There was a woman who I got stuff from. I bought muscle relaxer salts from. I don't see her card anywhere, which really upsets me. Is it in my computer? Nope. Okay, well, I can't remember. I think it's like Posh or something. It's gonna bug me now. But anyway, go watch my haul video. And so I used her bath salts, and then I used a face mask to like wash my face off, and then once I had finished cooling my body and taking care of my body and drinking water, I didn't stop drinking water until I took a nap. That's when we ordered food. He picked it up, we ate food, and then I took a nap. And yeah, and that is pretty much it. I had the next day off as well, and my legs were still sore. We like decorated the tree and stuff, and decorated the house for Christmas, so that was nice. But I've had work all this week, and it has been crowd control, which involves a heck of a lot of walking, so my legs are starting to feel it again, but I don't know if that's because of the half marathon, or if it is just because I've been walking my daily goal in a shorter amount of time. But anyway, biggest question, will I do another half marathon? Probably. I will probably do the Food and Wine Half Marathon every year, just to get myself going or keep myself going when it comes to working out and taking care of my body and stuff like that. I am signed up for the Princess 10K, and I'm very excited about it because I know I can do it. I also love the Princess races so much more. I would like to do a Star Wars 5K. I think that would be fun. And I think I could handle it. I mean, after this, I feel like I can handle anything, honestly. Like, I have to constantly, like, I posted pictures on Facebook, and everyone was like, cheering me on, even people who I didn't think cared, because I had talked about this for a while now, but like everyone was like, wow, you did amazing, wow, that was great. And so like I have to, that's why I got this, like I have to stop and remind myself what I was able to do, that this is not just, this was not a 5K, this was not a small race, this was a big deal. And it's very encouraging to myself to remember, and I have this literally hanging up. All my other medals are somewhere, but I have this hanging up for me to look at it. Remember all that hard work that you did for like 6-ish months. Remember all those trainings and those runs and all that stress over training. You did it. Like, you freaking did it. Like, you got this. Which is why it upsets me that people are selling their medals on eBay, but whatever. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to do a Disney race, whether it's a 5K or a half marathon. Highly recommend you do it. It is so much fun. There's so much hype, and like literally I was so anxious and nervous about it, like to the point where Jared came home the night before and I was crying because I was like, I don't think I can do this. But as soon as I got there, as soon as they started shooting off fireworks and I saw that everyone else was anxious, it made me feel a heck of a lot better, and it's a fun experience. Go ahead and do it. If you have any questions about running races, like I said, I've done several 5Ks, done a half marathon, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.